Hey everyone, okay, go ahead and get your lesson 20 homework out in front of you and we can begin by going over it. Number 1 says cut out the unit squares at the bottom of the page, then use them to make as many rectangles as you can with a perimeter of 10 units. Estimate to draw your rectangles below and label the side lengths of each rectangle. So, to find a perimeter of 10, I divide 10 by 2, which is 5. So when I add two side lengths together, it has to equal 5, which is how I got rectangle A with 4 units by 1 unit and rectangle B with 3 units by 2 units. B says find the areas of the rectangles in part A above. Area A of A says 4 units times 1 unit, which is 4 square units. Area of rectangle B says 2 units by 3 units, which is 6 square units. Make sure you put square units because this is now area. 2 says Gino uses unit square tiles to make rectangles with a perimeter of 14 units. He draws his rectangles as shown below. Using square unit tiles, can Gino make another rectangle that has a perimeter of 14 units? Explain your answer. So, to find a perimeter of 14 units, 14 divided by 2 is 7, so you have to figure out when you add those two sides up if it equals 7. So example 1 is 6 units by 1 unit, and example 2 is 4 units by 3 units. If I could find another way to do this by adding them up to 7, I could find another rectangle, which is how I got my example, 5 units by 2 units. This is another rectangle with a perimeter of 14 when you add the sides up to equal 14. 3 says that Katie draws a square that has a perimeter of 20 centimeters. Estimate to draw Katie's square below, label the length and width of the square. So I know a square has 4 equal sides, so whatever I'm going to add up 4 times has to equal 20. I know that 5 times 4 is 20, so I know that each side is 5 units. Find the area of Katie's square. Area is just length times width, so I'm going to do 5 units times 5 units, which equals 25 square units. Estimate to draw a different rectangle that has the same perimeter as Katie's square. So, dividing 20 by 2, I'm going to get 10. When I add two of the side lengths together, I want them to equal 10. So I found another way would be 8 units by 2 units. And I found the area would be 8 times 2 equals 16 square units. Which shape has a greater area, Katie's square or your rectangle? Katie's square has a greater area. Now go ahead and get the lesson 20 exit ticket ready in front of you and the timer will begin. Use your square tiles to build as many rectangles as you can with a perimeter of 8 units. Estimate to draw your rectangles below and label the side lengths of each rectangle. 8 divided by 2 is 4, so when I add up my two side lengths, it's going to have to equal 4. So I have rectangle A, which is actually a square because all the side lengths are 2 units. I have rectangle B, which is 3 units by 1 unit. So those are my two examples I made. Find the area of the rectangle in part A above. So area of rectangle A that I made, or square A, is 2 units by 2 units, which is 4 square units. And the area of rectangle B I made is 3 units by 1 unit, which is 3 square units. There are two different sprints you can do for this lesson. You can do sprint A or you can do sprint B. Go ahead and get ready when you are. Here are the answers for sprint A, so make sure if you're doing sprint A, this is what you're checking. Here are the answers for sprint B, so go ahead and make sure you have the right one and you can pause it and check your work. Now we're going to do the lesson 21 application problem, so put that in front of you and we can begin. The application problem says that Mrs. Zeck will use 14 feet of tape to mark a rectangle on the gym wall. Draw several rectangles that Mrs. Zeck could make with her tape. Label her width and length of each rectangle. So, my work below says 14 divided by 2 equals 7, so I found the different ways that I could make 7. I could do 1 plus 6, 2 plus 5, and 3 plus 4. I labeled my width and length of those because those are my rectangles that I could make, so I drew them above. 1 plus 6, that is where my rectangle 1 foot by 6 feet comes from. 2 plus 5 is where my 2 feet by 5 feet comes from. And 3 plus 4 is where my 3 feet plus 4 feet comes from. Now we can go over Lesson 21 problem set. So make sure you have Lesson 21 problem set so we can go over the new material. Number 1 says, on your centimeter grid paper, shade and label as many rectangles as you can with a perimeter of 16 centimeters. Sketch the rectangles below and label the side lengths. So I did not do that on the grid paper, but instead I did the math where you take 16 and you divide it by 2, which is 8. And you find all the different ways if you can add up different numbers to create 8, and I created the rectangles out of those. So 1 plus 7 equals 8, so I did that rectangle of 1 centimeter by 7 centimeters. 6 centimeters by 2 centimeters, 5 centimeters by 3 centimeters, and 4 centimeters by 4 centimeters. Part B says find the area of each rectangle you drew above, so I did that inside each shape. So 1 times 7 equals 7 square centimeters. 6 times 2 equals 12 square centimeters. 5 times 3 equals 15 square centimeters, and 4 times 4 equals 16 square centimeters. Now this problem is asking us for perimeters of 18 centimeters. So I did 18 divided by 2, which is 9, and I found all the different ways that I could create 9 by adding two numbers together. So one rectangle is 8 centimeters by 1 centimeter, one rectangle is 7 centimeters by 2 centimeters, another is 6 centimeters by 3 centimeters, and another is 5 centimeters by 4 centimeters. B says find the area of each rectangle you drew above, and again I did that inside the shape. So 8 times 1 is 8 square centimeters, 7 times 2 is 14 square centimeters, 3 times 6 is 18 square centimeters, and 4 times 5 is 20 square centimeters. Use the charts below to show how many rectangles you shaded for each given perimeter. You might not use all the spaces in the charts. So what I did for the first box is 10 centimeters, and I divided 10 by 2, which is 5. And I found the different ways I could add two numbers up to make 5. So the one given is 1 centimeter by 4 centimeters, and when you find the area, that is 4 square centimeters. The next one is 2 centimeters by 3 centimeters, and the area is 6 square centimeters. And that's all the ones I could find, so there are 2 rectangles I made for 10 centimeters. The next is a perimeter of 20 centimeters, so you divide 20 by 2, which is 10, and you have to find two numbers to put together to equal 10. The given one is 1 centimeter and 9 centimeters, which is 9 square centimeters. And you can see I found 2 centimeters by 8 centimeters, 3 centimeters by 7 centimeters, 4 centimeters by 6 centimeters, and 5 centimeters by 5 centimeters, with the areas all next to them. B asks, did you make a square with either of the given perimeters? How did you know? Yes, I made a square with a perimeter of 20 centimeters. I know because a square has 4 equal sides and one has all sides of 5 centimeters. Macy and Gavin both draw rectangles with perimeters of 16 centimeters. Use words and pictures to explain how it is possible that Macy's and Gavin's rectangles have same perimeters but different areas. So 16 divided by 2 is 8, so I found different ways that I could make a rectangle where two sides added up equal 8. So I decided Macy's going to have a rectangle of 7 centimeters by 1 centimeter, and the area is 7 square centimeters, and the perimeter is 16 centimeters. Gavin's is going to be 6 centimeters by 2 centimeters, where the area is 12 square centimeters and the perimeter is 16 centimeters. So Macy and Gavin both have perimeters of 16 centimeters, but different areas because of different side lengths. Now hopefully you still have this worksheet from the previous lesson, but as you can see, you're going to fill it in with today and yesterday's lesson. So you're going to look for all the perimeter of 10 units, 12 units, 14 units, 16 units, 18 units, and 20 units, and you're going to fill these in. You're going to label the width, the length, and the area of all of the shapes with those perimeters.